All right, hello everybody. Today I am being blessed with the presence of one Mr. Jacob Siegel, the man, the myth, the legend himself, a superhero. In fact, one might even say part of a superhero swim academy. So Jacob's kind enough to come here and see what we got going on at the Lifesaver Pool Fence Land. And if you're not familiar, if you're one of the 4 people on Earth who hasn't had the pleasure of checking out Jacob's YouTube channel and seeing the adventures and lessons that he gives, in the world of teaching children how to swim, then you're missing out. He's the man. But Jacob, thank you so much for coming, man. I appreciate you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for having me. I gotta say, this whole I didn't even know you guys made the fences here.
Yeah.
I thought that you guys were definitely getting them somewhere else. They were being shipped here, and you were just distribution. But getting the tour and seeing the insides of what you guys do, and your team is just so kind, and they really are. You can tell each person here cares about what you guys are doing, and it is beautiful. So it's and you called me a superhero. I mean, we all are. We are in the business of Lifesaver, and that's why you have the company that you do. It's Lifesaver Pool Fence for a reason.
That's it.
And again, it's so beautiful.
Thank you, man.
It is cool. I think I really liked all the different colors that you guys created. And one of the questions I had was okay, but has anybody got a fire red one?
No, we have not done a fire red.
That'd be so cool.
That would be kind of cool. Maybe you'll be the first. We can get to it.
Yeah, I was thinking our colors for our swim academy are blue and yellow.
Okay.
And I was thinking
ours are blue and orange. For Lifesaver. Yeah.
I was I wonder if we got blue poles and a yellow fence.
Okay.
It would really stand out.
It would stand out. You're not wrong. But I would probably do blue poles and mesh, a dark blue with a yellow trim, So one of the things that is kind of counterintuitive with the pool fence is the darker the mesh, the more transparent it is.
Which is important so you can
be able to see through it, right? Both for aesthetics and to see what's going on, right? A lot of people think that the white would be the most see-through. But if you think about your screen enclosure or your window screens, it's all black. You only see it when it's dirty, right? And also, something that's kind of counterintuitive, the smaller the hole in the mesh, the easier to see through. The more holes, the better. So you've got some companies, they got big holes. Big holes so you can see through it better. That's not how it works. Just like your window screen, the smaller the holes, more transparent, right?
Would have no idea.
Yeah, there it is.
No idea. And it makes sense too. And I think that I wish everybody could be educated more on pool fences. In the water safety in general.
Right.
I feel like every single story that we hear of drowning or incidents or situations like that, it's purely, well, I shouldn't say every time, but
often.
For real. Most of the time, it's just uneducation, not educated, and understanding that they could have a pool fence around their water. It doesn't just be a pool. I mean, you guys do a lot of things, right? You guys do ponds and things like that. Is that true? Is that correct?
Yeah.
So you guys do so many different things that could save these kids' lives. And if the installation is too expensive, you guys offer a do-it-yourself version. And that's amazing.
Very good. My good friend Rich Speck, who I think you might have met at the Lifesaver conference.
Yeah, I believe so.
He often says that he lost his son recently to a drowning, and he will tell you that he didn't lose his child to drowning, he lost his child to ignorance. Because if he had known how important it was, if he had known that drowning was the number one cause of death for children between the ages of 1 and 4 years old, if he had known that pool fencing like ours existed, he would have taken the precautions and put it up around his pond. So that's why his focus is on education. He's an educator by trade, but his thought process was that education is really what is taking these children away. Like you said, if they knew better, they would act.
Yeah,
exactly. They would understand.
It's so true. I wish parents did. Honestly, it would solve so many problems if parents, for one, knew what to do with their kids in the water.
Right.
That's the biggest thing. Most people see other parents and they learn from others, right? So they see the other kids wearing the puddle jumpers and the flotation devices, so they assume that's the best option, right? And I always ask parents, well, why did you use that in the first place? Why? I genuinely am curious. Most people say oh, well, it so everybody else does.
What everyone does.
You know? Yeah, it's what everybody does.
People like us do things like this.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes. And then I asked them, okay, well, why didn't you maybe attempt to teach them to swim? Like, let's say, being a swim instructor, I get parents that come to me with kids of all ages, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, even older. Well, why didn't you learn how to swim? The parents don't know how to swim, right? That's one of the bigger answers, but ultimately they don't know what to do. So I'll get parents that come to me with 4 and 5-year-olds, and yeah, that's like the typical age to learn how to swim, but it can start a lot sooner. It can start. 6 months, even younger.
Well, you said you're going to start your child at. So you are 6 days into being a dad, right?
Yes, brand new dad.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
What's your son's name?
Raphael.
Raphael. That's a cool name.
Yes.
Like the Ninja Turtle.
Like the Ninja Turtle.
Well done, sir. The best one, maybe. So, you're going to start Raphael at 2 weeks, you said, right?
Yeah, so his umbilical cord was the main thing. We wanted to wait until that fell off. That fell off yesterday, but
okay.
he's still really young and really fragile. So we are going to wait till he's about anywhere between 14 and 16 days old.
You'll be an old man by that point.
Right.
Yeah.
So we're going to start his journey then. Obviously, it's not going to be too much. We're going to start doing water acclimation drills, which is what every parent should be practicing with their younger newborn. And that can be done. It doesn't have to be, in the first month of their life. You can do water acclimation drills anywhere between 0 and, or until the cord falls off, and up until 9 months. Even a year and a half. In the bathtub, taking a cup of water, pouring it over their head.
So what is a water acclimation drill? Because I know about 6 months old, starting to do infant survival swim training. But a water acclimation drill before that, what does that entail?
Yeah, so you take a cup of water, not a lot, halfway full.
Right.
You look at the child.
Scalding hot.
Definitely lukewarm temperature.
Okay.
You don't want it too cold. You don't want it too
right.
too hot. But you pour it over their forehead, right here, right in the top of their forehead, right here. But before you do that, you say, ready, set, go. So that's your verbal cue, and then you do a physical cue. You can lift them up or something like that, but you also want to take a loud deep breath. So you start teaching them so they can start seeing you do that, and then as you pour that water down their face, eventually you're going to see the child start to react based on what you're saying.
Right.
So you're going to say ready, set, go, and then pour that water on their face. So they're going to start learning that phrase means water is going to come. Typically, if you do this at a very young age, it's not like they're going to be running any races anytime soon.
I was going to say, they're starting to race all of a sudden.
Yeah, ready, set, go will only mean water, and then as they get older, it can mean whenever they want.
That's cool.
Yeah, it is cool. And they can learn to hold their breath very young. There's a program out of Canada, and they put babies underwater at 16 days old.
Wow.
Fully under the water at 16 days. It can be done. Should you do it? Probably not. It's not for everybody, right? It's very they're medically trained. It's specific for them. Okay, but it just goes to show that we can be starting children younger, and babies learn based on atmosphere. If they're in the water, they're going to learn how to operate and act in the water. One of parents' biggest struggles, because when they bring their babies into the water, they put them in that sun covering flotation device thing, and they just bounce or float around, or they hold them the entire time.
They're not really in the water.
They're not really in the water. They're not experiencing what it's like. I understand why, but it's so easy to change for, if they just could get educated. And that's why I do what I do. Because I make all these videos trying to show parents, it's okay. Just do it. Just go and do it. The anxiety is a different animal, though. That's a whole other thing.
So, what exactly do you do?
Yeah, so I teach survival swim. I do it in a really fun way, and I try to meet.
So what is survival swim?
Right. So survival swim is the idea that the child will know what to do if they fall into any body of water. Right. The idea is that they will roll to their back,
right,
find air. Now it's totally based on the child's age, what they're capable of, or what they're going to accomplish through this task. So I don't teach it like typical survival swim instructors. Most survival swim programs are anywhere between 4 weeks and maybe 8 weeks long, sometimes maybe longer, and then there is an end goal. My job, I have an end goal as well, but my job is not to end it in 6 weeks or 5 weeks. I want to make it child-led, so it's a little bit more relaxing for the child, and my goal is to also meet the parent's schedule. So not every parent can do lessons 4 days a week or 5 days a week.
10 minutes a lesson.
yeah, it's difficult to squeeze that in. And as an instructor that travels to people's homes and even people coming to me, I want to make it very accommodating so it's accessible to as many people as possible. The issue with that is, though, I cannot set a time frame. If I get a child twice a week, it could take 3 months, 4 months, maybe even 6 months, because they might be sick a couple of weeks. I may have to start over. They might have had a bad, something's going on, the teething issues, okay, stuff like that. I also don't want the children to be so stressed out at the end of my lessons that they're not excited to come next time. Do they not cry? Do they cry? Of course. Lots of crying. It happens. It's part of it. But my goal is to get them to enjoy all of it. That's the goal. And then I videotape everything and post it online so people can learn how to do what I do. And I'm learning too. I'm not the best instructor. There's many coaches that are way better than me, and they probably wouldn't even agree with what I'm saying. Like, no, it should be done as fast as possible so they can learn as quickly as possible. But again, I think child safety is, and water safety is like, it's like an add-on to what I do, right? Like that is the biggest benefit. But also, swimming is beautiful.
Yeah.
And it should be beautiful, and we should love it and enjoy it. And that's where I like it. That's what I, what's the word?
They take gratitude out of it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
And you're fulfilled. And, I mean, children learning how to do that, it might be one of the first difficult things they learn how to do in their lives. And learning how to do hard things and accomplish hard things and overcome hard things
That's right.
is one of the most useful life skills you can have.
Yeah.
So if someone can get in the habit of finding out that they're good at doing things that they thought were impossible, if they stick with it, I mean, that starts a momentum that they could benefit from forever.
Yeah, it's so true. There's a kid that I teach on Saturdays right now. I only see him once a week. He's at our, we teach in the city of Westlake, and their adventure park out there. And I typically don't take older children. Like, I don't typically teach kids over the age of 1 when I first start them. I really like to get them as babies so I can, really just work on them and implement my style. And I usually get them before the parents have done too many improper habit structure building, right? So ideally, or anyways, this little boy that I teach, he's 3. He's been having he has good days and he has bad days, and anyways, his dad always says, we can do hard things.
Yeah.
We can do hard things and we don't give up. And I will just repeat that with him. And I'll say that with him, because I know the dad says it to him probably quite often.
Right.
So, but I love that. That just reminded me of that.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And what you do is so important. I mean, we protect the pool, right?
Yeah.
But you protect the child.
Yeah.
And the pool fence can't travel with somebody to the boat or to the beach or to the lake or to Nana's house, right?
Yeah.
But the skills that you give them, they go with them everywhere for the rest of their lives. And I think it's super important, obviously.
It's true. And I never even really thought of it like that. And that is true. I feel like if parents would just understand that if they can give some sort of understanding to the child of what happens when they go into the pool, let them fall in one time.
Right.
Let them just go. Just once. They're a whole lot less likely to do it again.
Yeah.
Not saying they won't.
Right. Maybe just slightly brain injured. Just a small brain injury, not even a big one. Just to, get their feet wet.
Well, I'll tell you what, there was one time when I almost regretted saying it because the little boy, he didn't fully understand the stairs of the pool. He understood the stairs in the house though.
Right.
So I knew based on conversations with the parents on kind of where the child was at. Okay, he would not sit down before climbing into the pool, which is when they're really young, they need to sit down first and then crawl into this. Okay, he just kept trying and we would run towards the steps, and I told the dad, I was like, listen, I think we should just let him fall.
Do it once.
Let's let him do it one time. And he did, and he fell. He came in, he fell. I mean, he fully fell down those stairs. Again, he's in the water, so he didn't hit the stairs or anything like that. No injuries. But it scared him a little bit.
Yeah.
He got a little shock. And then that was the one time.
That's it.
And now every time he comes, he sits down, he crawls in the right way. But he was of age.
Right.
Where that was accepted.
That makes sense.
Yeah. And I also was there to forget.
Yeah. So you're talking about understanding and education. So when did your education understanding start? How did you decide how'd you learn about this? And how did you get into it? What made you?
It was not on purpose, that's for sure.
I don't think anybody gets into this on purpose.
Yeah, right.
No one grows up when they're a kid like, you know what I want to do? Drowning prevention. You know?
Yeah.
My friend's like, I'm going to be an astronaut. Like, no, I'm going to teach kids how to.
I'm going to teach kids how to swim.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, no.
Firefighter.
So, you know, I told you a little bit, my story a little bit earlier, how I moved here when I was about 19
Yep.
from Michigan. And I worked at the YMCA up there.
And I mean, and your story is amazing. I won't tell, you know a lot of detail. But I mean, you were depressed. You were unhappy. You were sick of your life. You were staying inside all day.
Yeah.
And it was killing you. And you saw a way out and you took it, which is remarkable. A lot of people don't take it. You know, they see their opportunity and they let it slide by.
Yeah.
And you didn't do that. I think you should be commended for that. It's really cool.
Thank you. You know, I feel like it was a wake-up call from God is what I really think it was, because I seriously, my parents raised me in a Christian household, and I'm telling you, like, I wasn't going to church. I was in college for one semester, doing things I shouldn't have been doing, and I just was, like you said, angry, frustrated. But the biggest problem I had was self-confidence. I just didn't have any. And then I just woke up one day, I'm like, where did it go? In high school, super confident. I was playing sports, I was happy, I was doing things, so I thought. Long story short, moved here. I worked at the YMCA up there as a different coach, basketball coach, baseball coach. I coached volleyball at one point. Did whatever, I was good with kids. I work with kids. I have ADD, it's whatever you want to call it.
Hey, we were talking about that.
Yeah, exactly.
You know, every 8-month-old has undiagnosed ADD. You know.
Yeah, it's so easy for me, I find, to relate with kids. I mean, I have, like you, I have a collection of toys at my house that's, people are like, whoa, this guy's got a lot of toys in his house, you know? And so anyways, I came down here, I got a job at the Y. It was easy for me to work there. I got a job as a lifeguard, never had been a lifeguard before. God started doing that. I realized, like, okay, some of these swim instructors are making pretty good money. They're working with kids. This looks pretty easy, honestly. And that's how I got into it. I ended up starting to teach kids on the side of my already current YMCA job for some extra money. The YMCA that I was currently working at, or was working at the time, found out that I was doing this, and they let me go. And they fired me. And so it was really stressful.
Yeah.
And I actually didn't know what I was going to do because, again, I had moved here from Michigan. I had no family here that was going to support me and take care of me. I had to do it myself. So I ended up, my director at the YMCA really liked me, and she helped me get a job at a different YMCA, which was in Boynton Beach.
Oh, wow.
Yep. And then I ended up working there for a little while. I ended up hitting it off with this girl. Turns out this girl's dad was on the board of the YMCA, and he absolutely hated me. So they fired me because her and I had literally like a 1 week texting relationship.
Wow.
And it was just, again, now I'm fired from 2 jobs.
They got textual.
I'm like, what in the heck is going on? Seriously, we started going downhill again, depressed again. Is this not going to work out? What's going to happen? Am I going to have to go back home? I was scared, but I was going to Christ Fellowship at the time, big church here locally.
Yeah.
I met this guy. His name was Nick. I didn't even like him that much, you know? I didn't even like this guy a lot. You know, he was good looking for, you know, just one of those guys, you know?
I hate that.
Yeah.
So I think about you now. It's the worst.
Anyways, he was just this guy that he never remembered my name, but he always like talked to me. And he was, long story short, he owned a company called Storytime Soccer, which is a local soccer company. Me and him ended up becoming really close, and now him and I are actually really good friends. And he shaped me into the business person that I am now. So I worked for him for 4 years, and I learned a lot from him. I learned a lot about not just running a business, but taking care of the people that work with you. He truly was a kind-hearted person, and he also had somebody that worked for him that was a minister, and he specialized in kids ministry, and he designed all the curriculum for teaching kids soccer, and we would tell stories to children and teach them how to play soccer at the same time.
That's cool.
So we were using stories to teach the kids and it taught me how to talk to children in a way that would educate them, and also, I don't know, like love them, like love on them, which is what these kids need. You have to get them to trust you and love you if you want to teach them something that's gonna last forever, you know, and have a positive impact.
Right.
You know, because survival swim can go 2 ways.
Right.
And it's all about the instructor. You know, and I know you know my friend Natalie.
Yeah, we're good friends. Yeah, she's awesome.
She'll tell you firsthand that.
Shout out Natalie. Oh.
Yeah, she's one of the kindest-hearted instructors probably out there.
She's amazing. Yeah.
She really is. She knows how to love on the kids and teach them at the same time. And there's many survival swim instructors out there that just don't make that connection. That's why survival swim has such a bad rap in the first place.
A lot of times, yeah.
It does. Yeah.
Kids, they look like they're getting traumatized.
They don't look happy. Exactly.
Right, yeah.
So, but anyways, I ended up working for Nick at the Storytime Soccer for some time, and I learned quite a bit from there. And just soccer wasn't my passion. And,
Me either.
Yeah. You have to get out, and it's just a lot of work. You'd have like 20 kids. You got to play with them on the playground, run around with them. It's a lot. It was too much for me. After a couple of years, I just couldn't take it anymore. So, ended up starting doing swimming lessons, and from the people that I met through soccer, they all had kids and they all needed lessons. And one thing led to another, and now we have 3 main locations for our swim school.
That's amazing.
We rent, yeah. In the summer, we'll do up to 5 locations, and then we go to people's homes. We have an amazing team, and I was able to actually sell half the business a few years ago. One of the best things I ever did. My partner Reed Heller, he's everything I'm not. I am a very creative mind. I'm a very social butterfly. I love connecting with people like you and everybody, you know. And he is very structured, very organized. Again, that was everything I had was on paper.
Right.
You know, that's how I was. When he came in, now we have systems, and they can sign up online, and they can do this.
That's cool.
Yes. Anyways, that's how we got started. That's how we got to where I am.
So, if someone is in, what areas do you service?
Yeah, so we're in Broward County and in Palm Beach County. Our main locations are Lake Worth and Plantation and Westlake, so the Waxahachie area. Those are our 3 main year-round locations. We also have one in West Palm Beach that's only open during the summer. And but we also go to people's homes anywhere in Broward and Palm Beach County as long as it fits in the schedule.
And you also do lifeguarding at parties.
We also do lifeguarding at parties if it's needed. That's true. Yeah.
Which is cool. As a service, a lot of people don't utilize.
Yeah, it's so true.
If you're having a pool party, for a little bit of money to make sure that everything is copacetic, I think that's well worth the insurance.
Yeah, especially if they don't have a pool fence.
Especially if they don't have a pool fence, right?
So if
it's like insurance. You rather have it and not need it than need it and not have it.
We've done a lot of parties that they're not even there for swim lessons.
Yeah.
Or swimming. They're not even going to use the pool, but we just go sit in the back because they don't have a pool fence.
Yeah.
So they'll literally paying us $150 to sometimes even double, triple that to just sit there the entire time. Now we protect the pool. If something were to happen, we'd be there, and of course it makes sense. They'd probably save some money if they just got a pool fence.
I mean, maybe, yeah, it'll last forever.
It would last forever.
Or at least 100 years. 100-year warranty on the pool fence.
That's amazing. It's a 100-year warranty?
So it's a 100-year warranty on our top-of-the-line fence, yeah.
Holy cow.
And that's transferable, so, you would get it, and then 6 years from now, your kid, has kids, and they would have 40 years left in their warranty.
How do you even keep track of a 100-year warranty?
One at a time.
Wow, that's super cool. I had no idea.
Thank you. So if somebody wants to have you or your team teach them or their kids how to swim, how do they get a hold of you?
Well, they can find us anywhere. If they just type in superheroswim.com, that's our website, but just Superhero Swim on any social media platform. We have thousands of videos, and all you got to do is click the link in any of our bios, and you'll get directed right towards our website, and they can check it out from there. But I always encourage, if even if you're not local, you can still do these things yourself. You do not need a survival swim instructor to teach a child these skills.
And that's kind of the whole point of your YouTube channel, right?
The whole point of all of our videos.
Yeah.
No
one but you is doing this. You are the one and only person teaching parents how to get their
For
kids safer
free.
in the water for free.
Completely free.
Yeah, but you do have like if someone wants to become a swim coach, you also have a program for that, right?
We do, yeah. So if somebody wanted to take it a little bit more seriously and they
Yeah.
want to coach, or they already are a coach and they want to learn different types of skills and connect with other business owners, we have a community of swim instructors. It's only $20 a month. It's $20 a month. They're not going to find swim education for that, swim coach education for that affordable anywhere.
It's 70 cents a day.
That math is amazing. Is that right? Wow.
You know, how can you beat it? 70 cents a day.
It really is. It's so cheap, and it's not just me. They're not getting just education for me in that community. There's, some of the best coaches in the United States, even Natalie, is in that community, educating instructors, teaching them. People stepping into this industry can learn from the best coaches for 70 cents a day.
That's
Can
it.
you, I don't think Eric knows, tell them about your actual app, your swim community, and how you actually keep people incorporated in it?
Yeah, so it's an app that they can get. It's the app is called School.
Cool. Alex Hermosi.
Alex Ramon,
Yeah, big fan
exactly.
of him. Yeah.
Yep. So
SKOOL. School.
that is correct. Yeah. The community is great, and they get an onboarding call with me, so I show them how to use everything. I get to know the coach that comes on board. I do my best to make sure they understand how everything works. But I don't think people understand, like, they're not just getting classrooms. They're not just getting a community of coaches. They're getting like 100 different mentors for 70 cents, like you said, a day. Mentors from all over the world. There's coaches in there from Australia who own swim schools that have 700 to 900 kids a week going to their program. And they're in this community just helping coaches learn how to get to that step, if that's what they want, right? But there's something for everyone in there. It doesn't matter if you have 50 years experience, or you're just started last week. There's something in there for literally every single person. And what I found is I started this community is understanding that, like, okay, coaches that do have 50, 60 years of teaching swim lessons, you guys need an outlet. They need an outlet. They need to teach. They need to educate the next generation of instructors, and they may not know how to do that. They can do that within this community. They can get paid for it too.
That's cool.
There's paid opportunities. There's ways to make money. There's coaches in there that are making classrooms, and they're selling them in there to help other coaches for like $20, $25. Like it's so affordable. It's a no-brainer. I could go on.
Awesome. If there's one thing that you wish people knew about business or about water safety, whatever it is, if you could put something on a billboard and tell the world about it, what would it be?
Oh my gosh, that is such a specific thing. Man, start water, what is the word? Adaptation, maybe? Start water acclimation sooner. Start sooner.
Yeah.
That's it. These kids are going to these lessons crying, screaming. They don't want to do it. They don't want to do it. They hate their coach. They don't even know the coach, right? That doesn't happen if you start them when they're infants or babies. Yeah. The only thing they're going to cry about there is they're hungry or they're cold. That's it. We know that. So if you start them younger and you get them in the atmosphere, you will prevent fear and you can save their life.
I know Rich, who I said lost his son, they had another baby, a daughter after that, named Melina. Melina started survival swim training at 3 months old.
Yes.
And he's adamant that if his daughter was in the same situation as Reese, he would have found a wet kid. He would have been totally fine. The only difference is that Reese was signed up for lessons, but his pediatrician said started too.
Yeah.
Because everybody gets this bad advice that they should wait until 2 years old because of ear infections, or actually the American Academy of Pediatrics used to recommend starting at 5.
Yes.
Which most kids who drown have drowned already. It's 1 to 4, right?
Yeah.
So because of Nicole Hughes and Bodie Miller and his wife, the AAP recently changed that recommendation to 12 months old, which is better, but still not.
Not as young as it could
not
be.
as young as it could be. And
So I do understand why they did that, because like if we look at how we want kids to learn, when they're under 1 year old, they really should probably only be learning one thing.
right.
Go over. That's it. it's not swimming.
Right.
Really, it's really just a survival skill that they should all have.
But at least it's that.
At least it's that, right? So I think the way I tell parents to look at it, because if they do go off of that, that's swimming lessons.
Right.
Survival lessons are a completely different thing, and they should be started much younger, 2, 3 months, 4 months, 5 months,
And then
6
water
months.
acclimation lessons before that.
Water acclimation should start, as soon as that cord falls off. I really would have already started if my wife wouldn't have made me wait.
Well, you only got to wait another week, and you're going to document this whole journey on your YouTube
Entire
channel, right?
thing. Yeah, so my
So
son was
I'm
born
like-
on Tuesday. Yeah,
I'm so excited to tune in week after week and see the updates. I think it's going to be really cool to see.
yeah, I'm excited.
And I
And
think
it's I think I want to make it clear that it's a learning experience for me too.
Of course, it's your first child.
It's not just my first. I've never taught a child this young before.
Right.
I've seen it done.
Yeah.
I know it can be done, but I've never done it, and that's what's going to make this whole series even that much more interesting.
That's really cool.
Because I'm going to learn in front of people so they can learn.
In front of you. Yeah.
Exactly, and I think that's been my entire journey as posting online. If you go back to my older videos, man, I was tough. I was tough on kids. I would make them float. I would do something called submission floating, where they would just freak out, cry. It was so stressful, and I one day I just this cannot be the way to do this. This does not seem right. And then I started teaching, not just teaching myself, but finding people to educate me.
Like Mike Petrella?
Well, he helped. He helped quite a bit. I
Yeah.
want to say he definitely gave a lot of advice in his online mentorship that he openly advertises, and he has just been just a light to
He's a great guy.
to millions of people. I don't
Yeah.
think I made it very clear when he was giving me advice and tips and stuff you're not just teaching me. I am going to teach everybody that I meet that wants to be in the pool and wants to do these skills.
Right.
So that's what I do with everything that I learn. Everything. I don't gatekeep anything except how I hold my phone in the water. That's the one thing I don't.
That's a secret.
That is a secret.
All right.
I've told a few people, to be fair. I've told
All right.
a few people, but
I'll have to show up and see it in person.
yes, if you show up in person, you're gonna see it. But everybody always wants to know how I hold my phone in the water and get that point of view. But
Trade secret.
trades.
All right, fair enough. That's YouTube, not swimming. So that's a different-
Exactly.
That, you can gatekeep
that's
that.
all creator stuff. So.
Exactly. Awesome, man. Well, thank you so much. It's a pleasure. I'm glad you got to
man.
come here. It's really cool hanging out with you, and onwards and upwards. Excited to see what happens next.
Me too, man.
Congratulations to being a dad.
Thank you very much. I really haven't slept in a couple of days.
I know you're hanging in
My
there.
eyes are singing.
I know.
I can feel it.
It's sinking every week. I'll let you get back to that, but thank you, man. Appreciate you.
You as well, bro.
All right.
You as
Thanks,
well.
everyone.